King's Indian defense, normal, Smyslov variation, 5, h6. Intense. That was a serious game. That game was pretty competitive. White played a bit better than black in the opening. The middle game battle was fairly even. Opening with the queen's pawn. The Indian game begins by controlling the important e4 square with the knight, rather than a pawn. Nf3 strengthens the d4 piece and moves the knight closer to the center while exerting more control over the e5 square. g6 prepares to fianchetto the dark squared bishop on g7, where it will sit on the long diagonal. c4 obtains room in the middle and on the queen side and gets ready to advance the knight to c3. By positioning the bishop on a potent diagonal, this fianchettos the bishop. The d5 and e4 squares are under the control of nc3, which advances the knight into the center. d6 controls the e5 square and allows the light-squared bishop to develop. bg5 develops the bishop, attacks the knight on f6 and stops black from playing e5. h6 attacks the g5 bishop. This moves the bishop to safety. It is the last book move. By growing a bishop from its initial square, this activates it. It is ideal. This suggests kicking a bishop. It is quite good. A pawn kicks the opposing bishop, forcing it to move or risk being captured. It is quite good. The bishop is now on a square that is more secure. It is quite good. This misses a chance to use a pawn to attack the center. It is incorrect. The bishop is prepared to grow into a functional square. It is ideal. This provides an equal exchange of parts. That's good. This keeps the material balance in check with good commerce. That's good. Backs off. It is ideal. By doing this, a bishop moves out of its beginning square and into the action. That's good. This uses a pawn to attack the center while vying for position. It is quite good. Castling gets the king to a safer square, out of the center of the board, while also developing a rook. Castling kingside tends to be safer because the king is further from the center. It is best. Castling gets the king to a safer square, out of the center of the board, while also developing a rook. Castling to the same side of the board as the opponent avoids some of the attacking associated with opposite side castling. It is good. This enables the adversary to kick the knight. It is incorrect. It is a fair deal after all captures. That's good. Recaptures. It is ideal. A pawn kicks the opposing knight, forcing it to move or risk being captured. It is ideal. This reveals an assault and puts a pawn in danger. It is ideal. The bishop is now on a square that is more secure. It is quite good. This ignores an opportunity to defend a pawn that was under attack. This allows the opponent to pin a pawn. It is a mistake. This adds pressure by pinning a pawn. This threatens to attack a trapped rook. It is best. Now that the rooks can see one another, they can defend one another. It is quite good. The game was almost evenly matched, but black is now worse. It is incorrect. That leaves a rook vulnerable to being captured. Only one move worked there, and this wasn't it? This overlooks an opportunity to offer an equal trade of pieces. It is a blunder. That rook earns material if it is captured. It is ideal. Backs off. It is ideal. The knight is now on a square that is more secure. It is ideal. This is how you take the pawn. It is ideal. The knight is thus brought to safety. It is ideal. This exchange is fair. It is quite good. Recaptures. It is ideal. This makes winning a knight a threat. It is ideal. This disregards a superior strategy for dodging the opposing queen's check. It is incorrect. That falls flat. This defends the knight who was attacked. It is ideal. This passes up a chance to move a piece to safety. It is incorrect. That falls flat. That's a decent move. That's good. This suggests exchanging items of equivalent value. It is quite good. This wastes a chance to relocate a piece to safety. It is incorrect. This defends the attacked pawn. It is best. This misses a chance to make a winning argument. It is incorrect. While not a mistake, that is also not the wisest course of action. That's good. The pawn is now on a square that is safer. It is ideal. Among the best actions. It is quite good. This keeps the material balance in check with good commerce. It is ideal. Backs off. It is ideal. This misses a chance to make a pawn-winning threat. It is incorrect. Not the finest, this. It is incorrect. This protects a bishop who was being attacked and lacked defense. It is ideal. This misses a better way to add a defender to a vulnerable knight. It is a mistake. This loses a chance to imply that winning a pawn is possible. It is incorrect. This is the only move that works. It is a great move. Recaptures. It is ideal. This strikes the opponent's bishop. It is ideal. The bishop is now in a secure position. It is ideal. The best choice is this one. It is ideal. This can indicate that a pawn is being attacked. That's good. Very precise. It is best. As a result, the adversary can take an open file containing a rook. It is incorrect. This passes up the chance to capture an open file with a rook. It is incorrect. This is not the best approach. It is incorrect. There was just one smart move to be made. This misses a chance to pose a pawn-winning threat. It is incorrect. This enables the adversary can grab an open file containing a rook. It is incorrect. The moved pawn advances toward its objective. That's good. This overlooks an opportunity to push a passed pawn towards promotion. This allows the opponent to take an open file with a rook. It is an inaccuracy. This overlooks an opportunity to take an open file with a rook. This permits the opponent to take an open file with a rook. It is an inaccuracy. This can indicate that a pawn is being attacked. That's good. The passed pawn moves towards its goal. This prevents the opponent from being able to reveal an attack on a pawn. It is best. Perfectly on point. It is ideal. This disregards an improved strategy for taking an open file with a rook. It is incorrect. The knight becomes more active as a result, gaining control over more of the board. That's good. This avoids the knight's check. That's good. This turns the pawn into a passed pawn, which means no other pawn may oppose it as it advances. That's good. It is a fair deal after all captures. It is ideal. Backs off. It is ideal. It's all right. That's good. That is a regrettable error. It is incorrect. What I would have advised is that. It is ideal. This protects the attacked pawn. This threatens to kick a knight. It is excellent. The best choice is this one. It is ideal. Very precise. It is best. A powerful play. It is quite good. This moves away from the knight in shining armor. It is ideal. When a rook retreats, this attack wins a tempo. It is quite good. This moves the rook to safety. It is good. Intense. That was a serious game. That game was pretty competitive. White played a bit better than black in the opening. The middle game battle was fairly even. This wins material. It is best. Intense. That was a serious game. That game was pretty competitive. White played a bit better than black in the opening. The middle game battle was fairly even.